Hi, welcome to Babel. This is Donna from Donna B Astrology.
And I'm Lynda from Scullywag Astrology.
And today we're going to be talking about Scorpio and their astrology, the horoscopes for a Scorpio for 2023.
Yep. And we recommend that you read your ascendant sign horoscope. So this is mainly for Scorpio ascendants, but if you're a Scorpio sun or moon, you might find it helpful. But if you read your ascendant sign, it's more accurate. And we explain why that's the case in a video, and I'll put a link to that as well. But
Awesome.
Let's have a look at the astrology.
Yeah, we'll start out with the malefic planet, Mars. This is your ruler, Scorpios. So you should be quite comfortable with this kind of energy. It is in charge of impatience and cutting, as well as burning, separation, bleeding, and iron. So those are the strong traits of Mars, and it'll be turning direct January 12th because it's been in retrograde for about
Since the 30th
6
of
months.
October. Yeah.
It seems like it's been in the sign for 6 months. It's been a long time.
Mars first moved into Gemini on the 20th of August, 2022, and it won't leave Gemini till the 25th of March. Usually Mars is in a sign for about 6 weeks, but because it retrograded in Gemini, it's about 7 months. So in this video, we're just going to look at Mars stationing when it comes out of its retrograde shadow period and when it changes sign. It will go into other signs throughout the year, but we're not going to touch on that just now. But yes, it stations direct on the 12th of January and the retrograde shadow period ends the 15th of March. So any setbacks, delays, frustrations that you've had in the area of your chart that Mars has been retrograding in, which in your case is the 8th house, should start to ease up. And the 8th house is other people's money. It's shared finances and resources. It covers topics such as inheritances, loans, debts, shared finances, financial agreements, taxes. Yeah, it's a lot of subjects in there, a lot of heavy subjects too. So it'd be nice for it to come out of that at the 25th of March when it moves into Cancer.
And then in the 9th house, you're going to have that change, and you're going to have the drive and the maybe a little bit of impatience with philosophy,
Yeah.
publishing, maybe legal matters.
Yeah. May have philosophical differences, maybe issues with religions or other cultures, other beliefs, people from different countries may have issues regarding overseas travel. If you can kind of use that energy constructively, that would be good. You know, if you can throw your energy into those sorts of topics rather than getting aggressive or impatient or fighting about those sorts of topics, it would be helpful.
Yeah. The drive is there to to make change, and that's what we need Mars for.
Yeah, yeah.
It offers that bit of fiery energy to get things done.
Yeah. I mean, this is also the house of higher education too, so could be a good time to really just get in and kind of work on assignments or whatever is required to get that extra accreditation.
Very nice, but not to be outdone. There is another malefic planet out there. And we don't get to escape any of them. They are all in everybody's sign. It's just where it is in your sign. So
Mm-hmm.
for Scorpios, the Saturn is going to leave Aquarius and it's going to move into Pisces. So it's going to get out of its own rulership and therefore its strength. And that's going to happen on March 7th of 2023 is when it moves into Pisces. And it's going from your 4th house and it will go into your 5th house. So the subjects of, your home, Saturn is known for the planet of no, the rules, the regulations, the foundation, as well as the structure. It's going to be moving from your fourth house and into your fifth house. So you'll go from things that directly relate to your home to the things that cause you pleasure or creativity. And Saturn will offer the structure for that creativity and foundation for those more creative aspects of your life.
Yeah. I think I've heard people with Saturn in the fifth natally talk about a love of learning. So, yeah, it could be an interesting way to use that fifth house energy. Might be a little bit difficult for relationships or socializing. Probably not a good time to be gambling. When it comes to creativity and that, it might be Saturn in Pisces, you would think would give form and structure to that imagination, but yeah, it might be making sure that that structure's in place first rather than allowing it to just run rampant sort of thing. It's a different energy. We're going to have Neptune in Pisces too, so Neptune's in there kind of helping with all that creative energy too, so it'll be interesting when those two meld. But prior to this, you would have had, as Donna said, Saturn in the fourth house. So there might have been issues to do with family, particularly parents and home and living situations. So from the 7th of March, those sorts of issues might ease up. But yeah, Saturn, there's a need for structure and what's the word?
And Saturn
Persistence.
provides that.
Yeah, yeah. Persistence, because Saturn brings limitations and restrictions sometimes. So you need to be able to, keep marching forward sort of thing, keep at it. It's not, you drop it at the first hat. It's requires persistence and determination.
Very nice.
Yeah. Fifth house is also children. So maybe keep an eye on their mood and that, because Saturn can be associated with, depression and low mood. So yeah.
For Scorpio ascendants.
Yes.
And the other planet that nobody gets to escape from is Pluto. Pluto is an outer planet, and it moves because it's an outer planet and like an outer planet. It moves very, very slowly, and as it's moving, it just moves a couple of degrees a year. It's very slow. And for here, it's going to be in there, I think, Lynda, you said for 21 years.
Yeah, I believe it's about 21
And
years. It will be in Aquarius. Yeah.
yeah, so moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius, it's still being ruled by Saturn, which is a restraining and conforming kind of a planet. But Pluto is in charge of the transformation. It likes to go deep. It is intense. This energy is it gets out what no longer serves you. So if it's not serving you in your life, it tries to remove it so that you do have that room for that growth and that Pluto is trying to get you to grow.
Yeah. Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008, and it's been in your third house of siblings and your local area, your neighbors, local neighborhood. It's also short distance travel. It's kind of what's familiar to you. So those sorts of things, those topics, those people are kind of maybe undergone some sort of transformation. And particularly if you have, say, planets or chart points like a MC or your ascendant, well, it wouldn't be ascendant because this is Scorpio ascendant, but say you had your IC at the late degrees of Capricorn. Regardless, if you have a planet or chart point at the late degrees of Capricorn, it's not done with you yet. It's going to retrograde back next year. It will retrograde back into Capricorn from the 11th of June to 20th January 2024. And then it will go back into Aquarius. But from the 1st of September 2024 to the 19th of November 2024, it will be in Capricorn again. So we're all excited that it's kind of moving into a new sign, but it's not completely done with Capricorn yet. It's not even going to be done this year, like 2023. It's not going to be done then. It's going to be at the very end of 2024 before Pluto finally leaves Capricorn for another 250 years or so.
Right. And we all know the energy of Pluto. We've been living with it for 18 years, since 2008. So we all know what this energy is. It's just going to change, from this house into the next house, and that energy is kind of the same. It's transformational. It's changing. It's to help you grow. Yeah, it's even though it's an outer planet and it takes a while to change and move, the changes take place very slowly.
Yeah.
So this is not something that's like, whoo, we gotta, really keep an eye on this. It's going to change. It's not. It's going to take a long time, and it slowly moves you over to where it wants you to be. It does not. It's not abrupt. It's a slow changer, slow mover. We got a taste of it, or we'll have a taste of it this year of what the change will be, but it's a slow change.
Yeah. With when planets retrograde, like particularly, the inners, Mercury, Venus, Mars, they quite often, if they go over a particular point in your chart, it will have 3 hits when it goes direct over it the first time, when it retrogrades over it, and when it goes direct over it again. But with Pluto, because it moves so slowly and it's retrograde for 5 or 6 months of the year, every year, you can have up to 5 hits. So, and it might even take to the 4th or 5th hit before you really
Understand.
aware of it. Yeah. So for those with, like I said, planets in Capricorn, yeah, it might not be fully evident as yet. And if it isn't, don't stress, because I'm sure you'll find out soon enough. But Pluto entering into Aquarius from the 23rd of March until the 11th of June. It will be in Aquarius. So we'll get a taste and maybe a glimpse into what that will be, what issues that come up at that time over the next, what do we say, 21 years are likely to be evolving and undergoing change and transformation. And this is going to be to do with your 4th house, to do with your parents, your home and living situation, real estate, homeland, heritage, your roots. It's a very, very private house. It's an angular house, but it's very private. It's right down the bottom of the chart. So
It'd be interesting.
Mm.
And then we have the benefics. So Jupiter is the greater benefic, and it's going to be it's in Aries, and it'll be moving into your 7th house. It's in your 6th house now, and it's in charge of expansion and growth, as well as it's in charge of esoteric subjects and law, philosophy, those types of expanding your view type energy. And it's going from your 6th house into your 7th house. So this will be a benefic, so good things will happen. Instead of in your 6th house, it'll be happening in your 7th house towards May 16th. That's when it'll move. So you'll enjoy the Aries. Jupiter now is got a lot more drive, where the Taurus will be more tactile, more what you feel.
Yeah,
I think.
Jupiter and Aries, hopefully you didn't put on too much weight. 6th house is illness, kind of health, pets. Maybe you kind of expanded your menagerie of pets during Jupiter's time in Aries. Also, employees or people you work with. Jupiter is quite lucky. It's associated with luck. It's also very optimistic, generous, enthusiastic. So it's nice to have in any house. Moving into the 7th house could be interesting. Jupiter kind of expands, so you might have more than one admirer at this time. That can be multiple partners, multiple marriages. So yeah, it could be an interesting time. It's only going to be in there for a year though. And I mean, the seventh house is usually more committed relationships. Jupiter in the fifth could be multiple suitors, but I've seen it work in the seventh. So something to keep an eye on. But the seventh is our one-on-one relationships. It's not just romantic partners, it's business partners, it's close friends, and it's client relationships. You know, if you're working one-on-one with someone closely, such as a doctor, patient, hairdresser, client, astrologer and client, that sort of thing. So could bring, you know, more clients in or multiple business partners.
A very nice house for a benefic to be residing in for you for the
Yeah, nice.
Scorpios.
And, you know, it should be a fun, exciting time. You know, it's, like I said, it's optimistic, it's enthusiastic, it's, yeah, just fun.
Generous, it's
Mm,
expansive. Yeah,
yeah.
very nice. And then we have Venus, the other benefic. She's known as the bright one. She will be going into your fourth house January 2nd, and she'll be there until January 26th. And in the fourth house, you know, is the beautifying. Venus is the social energy. She and the arts and the beauty and all those nice things. And she'll be in your fourth house from January 2nd to the January 26th. And then she'll move into your fifth house, which is your the house of it's her natural house, so she's going to be extra good in there because she is also exalted here today.
Yeah.
And she'll be there from January 26th to February 20th. And then February 20th, she'll move into your sixth house, which is a good house, and that'll be Aries. It's a good house for health, as far as if you're going to have a planet move into it, you want it to be a good one or a nice one. And Venus is definitely that. She can help you with getting onto a good health routine because she is in charge of that social thing. So this might be, you know, picking up a sporting event that would include others like volleyball, you know, a team kind of a sport. This would be a great time to do that. Then she will move into your seventh house from March 16th to April 11th. And in the seventh house, Venus will bring good
Oh,
things as far as a significant other
hmm.
and the one-on-one relationships that you have.
Yeah,
So,
harmonious
yeah.
and yeah, just nice. From the 11th of April to the 7th of May, Venus will be in the eighth house. The eighth house is the partner's finances as well as joint finances. So you might benefit through a partner. So, say, for example, your partner gets a bonus at work, you know, maybe they treat you to something nice, or, you know, you go on a nice holiday or whatever. And then Venus is going to move it into Cancer and your ninth house from the 7th of May to the 5th of June. This could be a fun time. You're interested in topics such as higher education, overseas travel, foreigners, philosophy, religion, other beliefs and cultures. Yeah, it's possible you might find romance with somebody very different to you from a different country or a different culture. And then from the 5th of June to the 8th of October, Venus is going to be in Leo, and it's in that sign for so long because it's going to retrograde. Venus is associated with our values, our personal values, also our affections and relationships. It's about socializing, but it's also beauty and art. It covers a lot of different topics. And one or more of those topics are likely to be undergoing some sort of review by you during this time. So that will be from the 22nd of July to the 3rd of September is when Venus is retrograde. And if we factor in the retrograde shadow period, that will be from the 19th of June to the 7th of October. One thing to be wary of during this time is if you start a new relationship, it might not last the distance. Just traditionally, they just don't seem to last. Everybody's undergoing the Venus retrograde at the same time, so we're all reevaluating different things. And unfortunately, it just doesn't have a good history for lasting. Doesn't mean that it won't, but you're probably going against the odds there. Venus in Leo will be happening in your 10th house. So you might be, in this case, I would think it might be a case of, because the 10th house is career and public reputation, maybe this is more personal values. Maybe what you're doing is not aligning with your personal values, and that's something you're kind of taking on board and wondering whether, you need to listen to your inner voice. Or it could be, romance with somebody in the workplace or somebody in a position of authority, or, and maybe that's got you reevaluating, whether that was really a good idea or not. So, yeah, interesting things happening between June and October in the career sector.
Then October 8th, Venus will be moving into your 11th house, and that's your Virgo house. And this is also the house of, it is a good house. It's a house of your hopes and dreams, and the people that support you. So, having Venus there is really going to be a benefit, because Venus brings good things. And that will be in the 11th house from October 8th to November 8th. Then it will be moving into your 12th house, and that's your Libra house. And it's the house of seclusion. It's the house of, going away. You might not go away physically. You might go away and more internal, and figure out the things that don't really serve you, because you're going to be heading towards, it's going to be heading towards your first house. But in the 12th house, it might be time to rewrite a book, or just go over and work on things that would be more internal, as the 12th house gets rid of the things that you don't need. And then December 4th, it'll be finally going into your first house. And this is the house that will benefit you for your own personal things. And Venus being in your first house, this would be a good time to try a hairstyle. It would be a good time to, maybe update your wardrobe, as Lynda was saying earlier on another one. But yeah, when Venus moves into your first house, it's a time to be concentrating on you. And with Venus, a benefic is definitely a good thing to have happen to you. And it'll be in your first house up until December 29th. Then she moves into your second house, Sagittarius, which, if you are expecting a windfall, this would be the time that it would probably come through. It has a lot to do with your finances. You might get a raise at this time, or a bonus at work. So yeah, that's what Venus does in 2023.
And then we have the eclipses. We've had the eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio for the last couple of years, and that's your 1st and 7th house. So they've all been about changes, disruptions, sudden events in relation to you and your appearance, your health and vitality, your personality, how people view you, and your closest one-on-one relationships. Those eclipses are moving from there, though. So that's wrapping up, and that will be covered in the lunar eclipses. And we have the new Aries Libra eclipses coming in with the solar eclipses. That will be interesting, because that will be happening over your 6th and 12th house, which are more difficult houses. Their 6th house is more to do with illness, service to others, and pets, whereas the 12th house is often referred to as the house of our undoing. So it can include things like addictions, self-undoing, self-defeating habits, escapism. It can also include places like prisons or hospitals, places of confinement, but it's also rest and retreat, working behind the scenes. So the first eclipse is going to be 20th of April, and this is in the 6th house, and it's at 29 degrees Aries. So this is the first of the Aries Libra eclipses coming in. It might set the tone somewhat, perhaps, but it may bring something to light, or there might be something uncovered to do with employees, pets, or your health.
Very nice. So there's going to be four eclipses this entire year, 2 solar and 2 lunar. These will have a lot to do with maybe what happened 18 years ago. Those events or those themes might be readdressed now as the lunar eclipses are happening. As Lynda was saying earlier, it's going to be at 29 degrees Aries for the solar eclipse, and then the lunar eclipse is going to hit at 14 degrees Scorpio on May 5th. And then the other for the fall eclipses, they're going to happen October 14th at 21 degrees Libra, and then October 28th at 5 degrees Taurus. So it's going to finish up whatever was hitting these last couple of years where the eclipses have been happening at Taurus and Scorpio. It's just moving a little bit, but there are some things that need to be finished up, and that's what these eclipses will be doing, and addressing those issues in your 1st, 12th, 6th, and 7th kind of axis. They're all, those areas will be eclipsed. Some things, as Lynda was saying earlier, they eclipse people in and out of your lives.
Oh, they can. Yeah. They don't always, but it's kind of like a rapture.
The lunar eclipses usually are more internal.
Yeah. It's the lunar eclipses that are wrapping up. So the one in May, 5th of May, will be all about you. And the one in late October, the 28th of October, will be 7th house. So that will be regarding your closest relationships. So that's closing out. And yeah, we've got the Aries Libra solar eclipses. They're happening, but they'll be happening in 2024 as well. We get more than just 2 eclipses in a series. So yeah, but sometimes the early eclipses can kind of give hints, but that first one is hitting your 6th house. So it might have something to do with the health. And that second one will be 12th house. So maybe, the second one will be 14th of October at 21 Libra. So maybe, particularly since you had that earlier one in April that had something to do with your health, perhaps, maybe you need to cut back on some bad habits or, get more rest. Yeah, it will be interesting to see it. It will be different for everyone. And if you have planets or chart points closely connected to the eclipse degrees, it's going to affect you more.
Very interesting.
So that's 2023 Scorpio horoscope. We go through and do new moon and full moon horoscopes every couple of weeks. We look at the planets in more detail, and when the eclipses come up, we have a look at those as well and give individual horoscopes. This is just an overview, but if you're interested in learning more throughout the year, please subscribe, like, share, comment. We love to read your comments, and particularly during the year, we'd like to hear how your year is going. So, yeah. And
Lynda, what are you doing? And where can people get a hold of
you? I usually get in first. That's why I'm laughing. I'm at Scullywag Astrology. I'm doing natal horoscopes. I'm doing relationship charts, readings, and I'm doing, see, you throw me off, and I'm doing year ahead readings. And I'm at Scullywag Astrology. That's astrology.scullywag.com. And Donna, where can people find you, and what are you offering?
I am offering natal readings, year in advance readings, electional, horary, as well as I work with crystals in support of health. And you can get a hold of me at donnabastrology.com. I have my contact information there on my website.
Fantastic. So thank you for listening, and we wish you a wonderful 2023.
Happy New Year, Scorpios.
Thank you. Bye-bye.